I gotta say that I hate making videos like this lately. I hate it. I made some videos in the past, and I want to say that the reason I hate making videos like this is because I have to trade in valuable commodity in the black community amongst us all. That's optimism. You have to trade optimism for like real real world politics and human foibles. Okay, all right, we're all basically human and shit. All right, some of us more than others. But I hate doing that shit in our ethnic community because we're so embattled down here. And that's why I always, like, lately I've been telling people to go listen to some of Neely Fuller's teachings, like particularly, specifically, the thing he says where you shouldn't have anything to do with someone that isn't doing anything productive, okay? And like in our community, it's like the fucking land of dreams that never came true. Motherfucker, the best intentions that turned into somebody's personal uh, demons. All right, I don't want to say no names and shit. Maybe put a picture up or whatever, or some pictures. But like, you know, I, I like to be optimistic and shit when someone's trying to do something for the community and shit. Okay, I've given quite a bit of my time to charities and youth projects, during my lifespan, and now that I'm, an elder statesman of the community and shit, I'm more of a realist. I would rather the young men maximize their potential and be selfish with their lives and with their time because we need to build up our community and shit individually. And that's all you young kings, okay? I'm not really talking to any women. I'm actually not talking to women right now. I'm talking to men because the other side of the gender line, they've had opportunity after opportunity. They sit at the right hand of power and shit, of the minority majority, and they do nothing but keep the curtain pulled so you can't see what's behind there. Okay, and they don't do anything to build up their neighborhood or make it any better. And they blame us for everything and whatnot. But down here, we got this problem when we gather together. There's always some dissidents in there. There's some people that don't belong in there. There's some agents in there, and there's people that are just straight fuck ups. All right. So I'm just talking a hypothetical. I can kind of tell. I'm really good at sussing out like bullshit artists. Part or in whole. I'm really good at sussing that out and shit. Case in point, certain people want to give to the black community institutions of learning and history, right? Learning and history, right? They want to give that to the black community. That's what they say. That's what they say. But I want to tell you, even my time on Earth, my time working for nonprofits and everything, I just didn't hear the right wording. Okay, I didn't hear the right wording, and I can't bullshit around. Black people can't take the flea market version of how you do things the right way and shit. And when I heard these things coming out of these people's mouth, they weren't saying it right and shit. And one person is just keeps going on to the one project to the next without finishing the goddamn thing. It gets so bad that, well, I won't say that, but you know, as far as like building an institution of learning and whatnot, this person complained about our people and contractors and all that bullshit. And I didn't hear like when he started doing the school and getting this money and everything. I wanted to know who his grant writer was because you need people to write grants so you can get money and stuff. You need fundraisers. People to help you raise money and shit. And I didn't hear any of that shit. This guy was just getting money. People were just sending him money and shit. Like, blind lemmings. I like to be careful with your dollar. We don't have much economic cachet in society at large. And that's why I had to come down on these fucking poverty pimps. Okay? Yeah, I didn't hear nothing about a grant writer. This individual went on a lot of different, you know, programs out there in the mainstream. He appeared on radio stations touting his beliefs. He still does that. He appears on panels. Last time he was ambushed on fox sold by a trans woman, you know. And I cape for that shit. When there's some unfair shit, I'm gonna come for you. I'm gonna come, stand in front of you with my shield. But like, if you're a fuck up, I'm gonna say you're a fuck up and shit. Yeah, grant writer. All right. He didn't call. I guess we could look at it as like a Marcus Garvey situation where he bought a building that was in disrepair. I'm like, damn, did you even have a building inspector go look at this shit? You can get a building inspector real fucking easy. Okay, you can make a few calls. I know how to get a building inspector to go down and inspect a building that is supposed to be the site of a school. All right, you're supposed to have a grant writer to get grants and shit. All right, and you're on programs and whatnot. You're not reaching out to people to get programs. Who's the teachers of the school? Who are the teachers? Where are the teachers that are lined up? Why don't you show us the teachers? Why don't you drop some name and say who's going to be teaching at this place or whatnot? All we had at one point, the best we had with this person was an empty, bombed out building and themselves and whatever they represented. And then, they got caught in a scandal, And I hate it when some scandal involves a woman of ill repute. It's so dirty. I just imagine it's like this. When you get caught with your pants down and that female that's involved in that shit with you, it's like her panties are dirty, right? And she takes those dirty, nasty panties off and puts them on your head and lets the crotch rest right over your fucking nose and shit. That's what that's like to me. Anytime I see some shit like, some Cosby level shit where you got a bunch of bitches showing up. But that's beside the point. When you're a fuck up and shit, you make it everyone else's moral responsibility to either throw you to the wolves or to protect you, knowing you are the fuck up and you're gonna stay fucking up and shit. And you're gonna stay in your rhetoric, and the community itself is so embarrassed that they won't question you about your shortcomings and whatnot. But I will. Okay, I will. Someone has to. That's why we can't get anywhere. Okay? Can't get anywhere. I have a, lack of a better term, I have a Shaka Zulu, that mini-series. I have that mentality, the taking the throne mentality and shit, That's an ideology that I have and shit when dealing with people and shit. If you're lacking, I ain't got nothing to say to you. I don't want nothing to do with you. I know when somebody's a fuck up. And then you had another guy supposed to be building some place to house our history. Okay? Some place to house our history. Has a international profile. All right? Plugged in, Maybe he belongs to certain organizations or whatnot. Definitely a grifter. Okay? Definitely a con man on some part, but he does a good show. He makes a good show. He's got endorsed by the new black media. All right? Banned in the UK. Can't go overseas because of his, pro-black activities and his, his crusade for reparations. All right? Can't go overseas. All right? Knowing that's your profile, why publicly announce what you're doing when you haven't secured the building itself? But you know enough people to, raise funding, behind the scenes and secure the property that you're looking for through a realtor, pretty much. Only on the West Coast, you could hire a white person. Doesn't have to be a foundational white American, but you can get a person in front for you and acquire a property. Who's your curator? Now you really tell us all the projects that you got going on, and the social media scrum, and all of your activities that you do on a weekly basis and whatnot. You mean tell me you're also going to be a curator for your museum? I'm like, well, who's gathering stuff for the museum? And everything is always some kind of there's always some kind of scheme and shit. But you do good. You present a candy coated, a candy coated front for what we need in our community and shit, but you're a fuck up. Okay, we know it. But no one's gonna confront you. No one's gonna ask you directly. You've got enough clout to deflect that shit. Okay, enough clout to deflect it. And I wouldn't presume to even try that shit. But I'll call you out. Alright? Those are just two examples. Two different people that promised things that we hadn't received. And, I'm tired. Black people, regular black people, real black people that you don't see nowhere. But we're here. Okay, we just spooked this at behind the door. We deserve better. Okay, we deserve to have our faith rewarded. Okay, I ain't listening to no shit about how I gotta hurry up and wait for something that's been going on for years. And getting back on the second guy, with your profile, your international profile, stands the chance that, if you're doing a con, you want to have plausible deniability, you would announce this project publicly, hoping that it will be derailed and give you an out. Okay? I'm just tired of this shit. I don't wish no ill will on either one of these gentlemen. But I just say it pains me greatly that, I had to bring my shield down, my Spartan shield, my African shield, whatever the fuck, my foundational black shield down in front of you. And it's not just to protect you, to protect you from yourself. Okay, that's a position you put regular black people in. All right, it's always somebody trying to pull the rug out from under us. And before I go, I want to tell you why I feel the way that I do. Let me say this woman's name, Dr. Bernice King. I'm going to repeat that because of the fucking bill that came in my shit. Dr. Bernice King, one of Martin Luther King's children. She does some egregious shit. She says some crazy shit. Okay? And, I did one video about her and I never did another one. She had, the shit she had done that made me make that fucking video was so painful that it gave me a moment of clarity. And I realized that she probably hates black people. Okay? She probably hates black people because it was because of black people that her father never came home. Repeat that. It's because of black people that Martin Luther King did not come home. Before he was murdered, before he was assassinated, he had a staff meeting and he laid out what was going to happen after he was eliminated. In no uncertain terms, he laid that shit out. And he told them not to take any of the goodies and giveaways. He told them not to be compromised in any way and shit. He told them how to proceed after he was gone. And then he went outside and he was assassinated. And do you know what those niggas did? They did exactly what he said not to do. Okay? They did exactly what he said not to do. So, knowing that and looking at, information from a infamously banned YouTube video that I tried to post several times and it was banned every time. I just wish, knowing the state of black people today, I wish Martin Luther King would have stepped down from his post at some point. I wish that when Malcolm X went to Mecca, that he would have stayed there or went to Cuba or something, and they could have just smuggled his family over there, and that he would be alive. And I wish Fred Hampton was alive. I wish that somebody had the wherewithal not to leave him alone with the Judas guy. Okay? I wish somebody had the wherewithal. We don't even know the names of his murderers. And they got away scot-free and had children, and their children's children is walking around today amongst us. All right, these murderers and everything. And I'm just not going to stand for no more bullshit in this goddamn community. All right? And you'll have a nice evening.
In the name of all that is sacred, leave this scroll. Now!
Does my presence frighten you, Elder? Or is it your guilt that prevents your allegiance?
Your regiments cannot win my allegiance, Saka. Son of Nandi. Senzangakona Jamazulu, the true descendant of Zuluka Malandela, has dictated his choice. I will defend that decision with my life. I will not allow you to defile the divine rituals of my tribe. Now lift this claw. Now!
Skujana. Kill this man. He has insulted the king.
Now, there will be darkness. I pray that the ancestors will preserve and protect our tribe and safeguard the past as it was.
Nothing will be as it was ever again. Now, kill him. Skuchan, do you acknowledge me as your king?
Yes. Yes, Yaga. You are my lord, my master.
Then you're a fool. Omane.
Is there anyone here who wishes to disapprove this decision? No one speaks. Waiting on. Wemshangan. Then, salute your king. Wena wendovu. Wena wendovu. Wena wendovu.